Good evening. It is 8 o'clock in the East. It's Monday, Labor Day to boot.
It's Labor Day.
Welcome to Around the Way with Stacks and Nic Jay. I know I told you what I was going to do right before we go on, but I'm switching from that already. How you doing this evening, baby girl? How are you?
Okay. So since the last time that we was on here, Trinidad and Tobago had their Independence Day on August 31st. So shout out to my family and friends down there. Um, I'm sorry, my stomach feels, my stomach feels a little bleh.
I feel
And
kind
my
of weird.
huh?
I feel kind of I feel kind of sluggish. I'm trying to think. I
On
was,
your birthday?
huh?
Happy belated birthday. I said, was it from you partying on your birthday? Hey,
No,
good evening,
no,
Sam.
I'm not a. You know what? And I need to get out of this. I'm not a. I think that most people know I'm not a real big celebratory
Ah,
guy. Um, I do need to get out of that. I didn't do anything for my birthday. I was right here at the house like I always am, just chilling with the fam or whatever. It doesn't take much to please me. I have my little meal. I have my little I do get a birthday shirt every year. I didn't take a picture. I don't know what's wrong with me. I
that's
just don't.
cute. What does this shirt say?
It says it's like it's similar to that one shirt that me and you got. It says vintage 1970 1979.
Hmm.
I'm not 43. I'm 25 with 18 years of experience.
Hmm.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope. But
That's cute. Nice little
it now
tradition.
I did have the opportunity to be off. Did some traveling last week with the job. Was able to enjoy the weekend. I was able to enjoy the day as well. Me and the family went up to Charlotte to do top golf, so that was some fun. That's probably why I feel sluggish because I'm tired. My ass ain't usually been out there doing the physical activity like I usually do. So I guess I finally figured it
And
out.
all the traveling.
Huh?
And all the traveling.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out when I got back. I think I got back damn, Wednesday.
Okay.
But before we get into the shits, matter of fact, how was your weekend?
It
Before
was
we
good.
get down
Um,
to
it was good. I finally was able to sleep. Insomnia has been kicking my ass. So I was finally able to get some sleep, which is wonderful. Um Today I was off, but I slipped into some work because, but it was good.
do you don't take anything for your insomnia?
I am on so many medications. No.
Okay. I
Mm-mm.
have this pill that I don't take it all the time. That shit like a tranquilizer, like a tranquilizer. I do take it when I'm on the road because it is very, very. I'm like a bougie when it comes. I'm like a bougie sleeper. Like I have the topper on my bed. I have the memory foam pillows, and regardless of how nice the hotel bed is, it's just absolutely trash. And being that I'm traveling a lot, I'm in hotels a lot, but I'm thinking about at least trying to pack my memory foam pillow because hotel pillows is just it's just trash. I mean,
Okay.
the bed is trash. Sound like I sound if I'm sounding bougie, people I am when it comes to fucking beds, pillows, and fucking
Maybe we
TV.
should just
I'm a fucking snob. I'm
try to
willing to I'm
convince your
willing to
job
admit
to
all
send
that.
you to like the Ritz Carlton or something.
I need you to do me a favor because I told somebody I was going to do this, and when I give the shout outs, you can do this on your phone. I need you to tag Sammy, and if you have any groups, matter of
Oh,
fact,
hey, that's
if
right.
yeah, share tag Sammy, share this to
Okay, let
whatever
me
group
turn down
that but shout out to the team, shout out to the guys podcast team, Sean. Merv, Mark, Becca, Tina B, Street Team General Tazon. Did I say Merv? I want to say I said Merv.
What is the fantasy football draft like?
I'm not participating in this shit, but let me finish getting these shout outs out. We'll talk about that. Shout out to Bobby Blackjack. We are now streaming on Zingo TV, channel 199, like we always have been. We're on channel 6 on Stream. Shout out to everybody in our Facebook group. Shout out to everybody on One Maha Radio. We got a really good show for y'all. And as far as fantasy football, I don't know. You know what? I'll get with Merv, because what I was going to do, I wasn't going to participate in fantasy football this year because my travel days are usually Sunday, but now I have some flexibility to where I can travel on Monday, so maybe I'll be able to. So what I will do, I'm going to get with Merv after this, because he's pretty good at setting up leagues, and he's probably in 10 of them already. He won't mind another one. I haven't set up the Guys Podcast Fantasy Football League. Pretty sure he'll be down. Did I mention the beautiful listeners at 1 Mile High Radio that's listening to us right now? Holding us down for over a year. Shout out to y'all. We got a pretty good show for y'all.
Thank you, Merv.
We're gonna get into the shits real quick, man. And we're gonna start with a video.
Okay, y'all. I'm ashamed. I didn't know. I didn't know DMX died. I didn't know. From a cocaine overdose. I am today 6 years and 1 month clean. It breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. He lost to it. He lost to that demon of addiction. Please don't lose.
Listen. I want to talk about the late great DMX first.
And please, we don't want anyone to lose. Like, no, that is a serious message. But
say again?
I said we don't want anyone to lose. Their fight. In addiction. So yes, look at it. It said nigger real loud. I mean, behind on that screen.
What?
It said nigger right in the back.
Oh.
To our listeners, I am black. Like, I've heard, that the voice doesn't always give it away, but I am. So
that was random.
Because people might not see my face, but they might have just heard me say the N-word.
Oh my God. I'm pretty sure they would have heard my reaction if you were a Caucasian saying that word. So I think we're good. But anyway, I just want to let the viewers out there, in case you've been living under a rock for the last 17 months, DMX passed on April the 9th of 2021. So I don't know why Stacy Dash, Michael Jackson looking ass, how she get so fucking light skinned. Let's just start there, Nick. How the fuck is she your complexion all of a sudden? She used to be.
No, she's lighter than me. Like, she is. Yeah, honey child. They said that's probably why she made that video. I saw a bunch of comments, and they said to debut her new color. Like, people gotta stop.
Debut her new color. Whoa, wait a fucking minute. Say that again. Say that again.
Who, me?
You said something about her debuting her new color.
That's what comments were saying on like different posts that I saw. They said that she knew, but she just wanted to get on here and debut her new color.
Listen, and that's a good theory. But I'm sorry. First of all, it was very fucking poor acting, on my opinion.
Yeah.
And it just reeks of it just doesn't. It seems disingenuous. And she's an actor. I mean, not a very good one, but you would think that she would have self awareness, but she's tone deaf. Of course, we all know that Stacy Dash is you can put her right up there with what's her face, Candace
Yeah, I mean,
Owens.
she Owens.
Yeah,
She kind of. Yeah, she made a weird turn.
and I think Stacey Dash used to be like a video vixen or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
she was in that one movie. Was it Paper Soldiers?
She was in Paper Soldiers. Yes, she was. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was
So,
like the it girl.
So I'm really trying to figure out. I don't like it simply because I think she used. I mean, it's just sheer stupidity first and foremost. DMX passed. I don't know if I got my count right. I want to say 17 months ago. Last April, I think that's about 17, 15, between that number, 17, 15. Let's see. August. Yeah, about 17 months ago. She doesn't have any, she doesn't have a good circle of friends that love her. And the reason I'm saying that is because somebody could have said, you know what, you're wrong, or she could have not done the fucking video.
Girl, take this shit down. That's what they could have said.
Like, yeah, like, and it give credence to what you said as far as she's trying to debut a new color, because I ain't never seen damn Beyonce look like damn Autumn Night from fucking P Valley. She's that light skinned. She might be lighter. Maybe she's channeling her inner Michael Jackson or whatever. She got a vitiligo or whatever the fuck going on. But I just don't like. I just learned that DMX died, and
you know, if let's say that she really did just find out, like, girl, keep that to yourself. Like, that was not, like, you wasn't embarrassed. Like, some people will do anything for attention.
anything for the vine, do it for the vine.
Stacy Dash is older than us, right?
She is.
Because when Clueless came out, we was young. Not young, but we was younger than her. And that need for attention, it just, it don't go away if you don't deal with it.
She way older than us. Stacey Dash got 12. Stacey Dash, 55 years old. Shit.
Is she?
Yeah, she need to fucking do better. I can tell you that. That's what the fuck she need to do. Yeah, so I didn't really check to see all the reaction. I mean, it goes without saying that she got fucking roasted or whatever, but I'm trying to see if anybody came at her on some serious type, because I think it's disrespectful. And let's just let you know, give us another example of Stacey Dash not being of the culture. She ain't even trying to come back. She ain't even trying to make it known or nothing like that. Like, if you are a black person in 2022, you don't know that DMX passed in April of 2021. The only excuse for that was you being in outer space for an extended period of time. But I mean, I just don't get it. I hope she gets the help she needs. That shit seems like attention seeking and maybe some mental health issues, but we ain't gonna beat a dead horse. But one thing I do want to talk about.
So here's something. Stacy Dash is a cautionary tale of what happens when you turn your back on your people. She's been in black exile for the past 6 years. I'm not shocked she just found out. Black exile is like sending info into space. It takes light years to get to them.
I like that. And that's kind of a perfect thing, right?
Tyrese, I did see this. I think it was on the Shade Room when they had posted about it. He said, "Ain't no way this is real." I don't know why that was so funny, but it was.
He said, "What now?"
He said, "Ain't no way this real." That was his, that was his reaction to the video on the Shade Room.
If anybody that's watching got any other reactions, please let us know. But I'd love to see. Say again.
I figured you out. You're a Virgo.
Okay. I don't.
That's why you
What
are
does that mean?
how you are.
How am I?
You were so like you remind me of like my sister and even my 11-year-old. They're both Virgos. Like they're not the most outgoing people, but they but when they fuck with you, they fuck with you. Um they like things just so. I can't explain it, but you do give Virgo energy. I like Virgos.
That's
I would totally out of it. I mean, so I have like 5 different conversations in my mind. So while you were talking with the one voice, oh hey, it was just his birthday. He's a Virgo.
yeah. It's something about me, and I don't place too. I know a lot of people do, but I mean, I would love to know what you feel would be Virgo trait. Because I don't place a lot of stock in zodiac signs. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people do like because oh my
Know
god,
who we could have on here.
not at the risk of there's somebody that there's somebody that would always display poor behavior, and they always would blame their zodiac sign, which I found it to be a cop out,
Mm-hmm.
and to continue a continuing way of not to accept responsibility for their actions. And I like as far as the Gemini shit, like Gemini is supposed to have multiple personality, crazy and all that shit. My little sister's a Gemini. She's none of those things at all, like zero. So, but I would love to hear I'd love to hear how you came up with that. You said not the most outgoing. I took that as a slight, but
Why?
not the most outgoing.
Are you?
Define outgoing. Let me
Like if
see.
you were to be out at a party, would you and you didn't know nobody? How many people would you know by the end of the night?
How many people would I know by the end of the night? I think I'm a that would I think I'm an ambivert. Is that what you call it when you're both?
Oh, is it?
I
That's
think
the
that's
first
what,
time I heard that word. Come on, dictionary.
I think that's what it is. Now I might be fucked up. Somebody need to fact check
Hey,
that shit before they say something. But
what'd you say it is?
I can operate. I, if I go to a park, I'm well socially, but the thing is, I don't go out like that. I'm a homebody now. Like I'd say in my early 30s and 20s, when I was always out, I'd go to a party and I'd make some new well, I call it friends at the time. You know,
Okay.
I don't use the word friend lightly, but I am I'm actually great at connecting and engaging with people. You know, so
Well,
but
then,
say again.
oh, Merv said older age, yes, younger, no. We could have Chris on here. She would like to come on here because she knows about a lot of that stuff.
So as far as
And
what?
she would be able to she would be able to give you like a fuller picture. Well, give both of us a fuller picture based on our big three, our sun rising and our moon. So
I don't be believing in none of that shit though, man. Maybe I gotta open my mind up to it.
obviously I do. But
I don't believe none of that shit because I've just seen too many people use it as an excuse, especially Leos and Geminis. So
ah
all right, let's move right along. And this
oh wait, your brother's a Leo.
yeah, yeah, but obviously I'm not talking about him. That's probably one of the dopest dudes I know. Uh, but
Hey.
uh, but let's move along. Okay, a hot topic in the last few weeks was Biden passed a law I don't know exactly what the amount was as far as student loan forgiveness, but America reacted, and it was sad for me simply because I'm going to give you my take on it real quick. I ended up going in the military. I didn't want to go to school because I saw my older brother, you know, apply to colleges and had to do all that financial aid shit. And at a very young age, I didn't like owing people, and I was already, you know, kind of attracted to the, you know, military. I was in JRTC and shit like that, so I knew I was always by the 10th grade, I knew I was leaning towards going in the military. Even though, of course, I mean, I could have gone to college. I'm pretty sure if I didn't go in the military, I would have gone to college just like my siblings. But Sam is saying it's 10 to 20K
Yeah,
per.
depending on certain
Okay,
things. So if you got a
so
Pell Grant, it'll be 20,000. If you didn't, it'll be 10.
gotcha. So I went in the military. As part of going in the military, they get you got student loan forgiveness through service. You have you have free college, which I took advantage of. Not as much advantage as I should have, but I still have those benefits. My son is going to school because of my military service.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
and yeah, he's a senior at University of Nevada. He's going to be teacher. Uh, it's weird. I don't want to get off of topic, but it's weird. He's 22, and it's amazing how even though his mother, with me being in the military, she was a custodial parent, so it's summers and visits and stuff like that. He is
Very
my
much your
fucking
child.
clone. This motherfucker is it's weird talking to him because he's a man now and he's my clone. He's I was talking to him one. I'm like, damn, dude, you're kind of an asshole. I hate to say that, but and has some asshole tendencies, man, and he got it on us. But anyhow, not at one point me thinking as far as me getting me having to go into the military to pay for schooling and things of that nature. I've never ever. I don't know why I don't have the ability to
Never,
hate
ever,
on someone.
ever, 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 ever,
I don't
ever.
have the ability to hate on someone that gets something that I don't get. Um, and what I liked about the whole thing, Nicole, is when the Republicans were bashing White House petty as shit. When Republicans kept coming out saying, of course, oh, they shouldn't have done this, it's not fair. Every single Republican that was talking about it had gotten PPP loan forgiveness, and we're talking about
Yeah.
anywhere from the range of $100,000 to millions. I mean, but that's how politicians are on both sides. All of them motherfuckers are corrupt and shit like that. So yeah, that's me on the student loan. I'm happy when people get a come up, even if I'm not included. And I just
Hey, good
I
luck,
don't
Murray.
know. It's just
Draft.
it's just very, very sad to see how people are upset because some people got relief. Because I believe college loans are predatory. Let's just call it what it is.
They are.
You know, they've always been predatory, but most of the people that I know needed them to go to school. Thoughts?
Well, I'll be benefiting from that,
I'm happy for you too.
Well, thank you. My son will be benefiting from it. So, I'm really happy for him. Unfortunately, I was in a position to where I could send him to school. But yeah, I'm happy for me. I'm happy, I'm really happy for him, and just we can't afford that shit.
And I'm glad Sam came up with this comment because even though I served military, I'm retired military. I do know. I mean, I was a recruiter, so I mean, military does prey on low income families. That's one of our biggest tools we use as recruiters to get people to join. We'll pay for your college, you pay for your family college and stuff like that. And she's absolutely right. Take advantage of low income people. It has for years using college as a man recruiting tool. And Nicole, wouldn't you know it? recruiting across the military is down right now, especially the Army.
I think I did see that.
Yeah, I don't. Now the student loan forgiveness thing came out after these numbers came out, but yeah, the military is having a really hard time, staffing, filling their force. Ain't got shit to do with me no more. I ain't in no more. So hey, whatever. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But Merv, you say why is that? I don't know, man. I would get an answer to you, man, but that I mean to be perfectly honest with you, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me no more. I really don't. I really don't keep up with that shit like that. But like Rika said, the White House. Did you see it on Twitter? The White House was every time somebody commented, they'll be like, such and such got $1.5 million forgiven in PPP loans. So you could just see the hypocrisy. But we'll get to that much more later.
You
know, talk about
the
main topic.
Colleges is. I'm not saying that college is a scam because I love college, but I love learning and everything, and it can be great, but a lot of people get out of college, they have all of this debt, and like you can look at any paper, on Indeed or whatever else, must have a bachelor's degree, and they're paying like $35,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's right. Like that's like a lot of people are making that without college. So it just it's a sad situation.
I saw one where it said $19 per hour must have master's degree. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Like, you kidding me right now?
Yeah, it's insane.
Shit, wow. But I got one of my homeboys on there, one of my very dear friends from the military. Shout out to my homeboy, Michael Phillips, aka Snake Rogers.
All right, Snake Rogers. Hey.
Yeah, that's what we call. We had nicknames and shit in the military, man. We used to call each other shit like that. That's the homie Snake in the building. But yeah,
Oh, you're just gonna ignore.
Huh?
I said, what was yours?
I had several. On Time Brown, Legend 2.0.
Okay, we could just.
You asked? Yo, I didn't ask people to call me these things. I didn't ask people to call me these things.
Rogers is kind of cool sounding.
The Standard. I mean, I don't. I mean, you want me to continue? Legend 2.0.
No, that's okay.
The Standard, On Time Brown.
Just like that.
Asshole Extraordinaire. Big Sarge. Reggie Carmine.
Not Big Sarge.
yo, but yeah, these and the funny thing is, one thing I wanted to talk about as far as it seems like all of us at the bottom. I'm not saying the bottom, some of middle class, whatever have you, but it seems like it's a never-ending cycle where rich celebrities, 1%, rich people, and the politicians, what they do is they keep us fighting with each other, where we fail to focus on the fact that these are the people who's been raping and pillaging America for years. You know what I'm saying? Especially the politicians. And I'm not just talking about Republicans. I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about Republicans, Democrats, Independent, all those motherfuckers raping you records like a lot said back. They have been raping and pillaging this country for years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So shout out to everybody who got a student loan forgiveness. Everybody that's mad about that, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. But hey, maybe you should focus on those, because what it really is, Nicole, I think it's people that they just love to see people beneath them, and they feel as though if anybody get any type of relief, that they can catch up to me. Because I don't know why people want to see people suffer so much. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. But let's look at some of these comments. If you're mad about
Ingrid makes a good point.
Gen Z generation not tolerating these low salaries. That's why they are the great resignation right now. You know what?
That's the truth.
I'm gonna go off strip, and I'm a Ingram makes a great point. Did you hear this shit called quiet quitting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, quiet quitting is you're not quitting your job. It's just that that employee who is dead set on just giving their time to the company during business hours. They're not checking on emails after work, and they're doing I wouldn't say the bare minimum, but they're doing whatever it takes to they're doing enough just to keep their job. I'm not even gonna lie. I think that shit is whack. I honestly think this shit is whack. You also on the flip side of that, you do have quiet firing from management perspective, whereas they see individuals that are quiet quitters and people that really they just want to pay the bills. They're not looking for advancement, anything like that. They're not going to go above and beyond. They're not going to make themselves competitive for promotion and shit like that. They're just there. And I don't know if that's a counteract type deal, but what do you? I don't. The quiet quitting thing is just whack to me. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's whack. I think that these corporations, these jobs, they use us. So like they will work you to the bone. Like I've worked in nonprofit for the last I don't know how many years, and and I love it. However, my experience at a nonprofit is don't let them know that you know how to do this, that, or that, because they'll start putting on new things for you without compensating you properly for it. So, no, I'm just gonna do what's on my resume. That's it. I mean, I'm not mad at that.
You said that these companies use employees.
They'll use you, they'll work you to the bone, and so you kind of do have to if you don't have any aspirations to grow, in a company, then I don't see anything wrong with your work hours is from 8 to 4 or whatever. You come in, you do your job description only, and then you leave. That
I mean, I think that's fine for somebody who's not trying to advance, but I just
well, that's what I said. If they're not trying to,
I've never spoke that kind of language, but I mean, to me, it's kind of dangerous because, especially in a at will state where it's easy to fire you.
Pennsylvania is an at-will state. Yeah.
Yeah, so in South Carolina, companies don't want to hold on to people who not trying to advance. And as far as using, I kind of disagree with that because I think that people are getting paid for their talents. You're getting paid for your time and your talents. It's a give and take. You're using the company. The company is using your talents and your time, and they're paying you a salary. Now, does everybody get paid fairly? Of course not. But hey, that's the way it is sometimes.
Yeah. Sam said, look at people that try to advance, though. They work extra hours, take on extra workloads, and get passed up for promotions due to nepotism.
Yeah, and that's called that's called leaving a company. I used to work for a company like that.
That's called leaving.
It's called leaving the company and go find another one that don't have all that shit. Like, I mean, I will never ever. That seems like an excuse. I mean, and that happens. I'm not going to downplay that doesn't happen. But yeah.
In honor of Labor Day, yes, I agree with you, Sam. She said in honor of Labor Day, every workplace should unionize. Workers of the world unite.
Say again.
I don't like start any, with slogans, but workers of the world unite.
Okay.
Keep the world going.
All right, let's Let's get off that topic. So, okay. Angry white man threatens to fly a plane into a Tupelo, Mississippi Walmart. Let me tell you. Okay, so we got this guy. He's angry. And I did some research. I don't know why this guy did this or what his gripe was, but he was a small one of those small airport. He worked in one of these small little in-town airports where the little small crop dusters and shit fly from. His name is Corey Wayne Peterson. He stole a twin-engine aircraft and threatened to fly the plane into a Tupelo Walmart. You know what? What I don't understand. Last time I checked, being a straight white male, that's still in, right? You still got a lot of shit for being that nowadays, right? You're still like you're like ideal. You're like number one in the pantheon for the United States, right? Straight white men, they still got privilege and all that shit. So I'm trying to figure out what this motherfucker's mad about. I looked everywhere. I just found
it wasn't because they did something to him. He got fired or nothing like that.
No, that motherfucker's mad.
Huh.
So I don't know. I thought it was going to be something MAGA related. Apparently, at least as of right now, it's not. But it's mighty funny.
That is just for shits and giggles. Yeah, what a weirdo.
Well, you have a segment of the straight white male population that really think that they're under attack. They're being replaced. I laugh every single fucking time I hear about it. So, yeah. So, apparently, he was able to land
the fucking in the plane.
He's flying. He was in the fucking air for 4 hours. Somebody had to talk.
Halfway there.
Somebody had to talk his ass down. But check it out. I think he was bluffing because the motherfucker he didn't come down. He didn't come down until he was running out of fucking gas. So I don't know. I don't want to give the negotiator credit for that because this motherfucker was going to either fly because he ended up landing a plane for one. I don't even know what type of experience he had, but. I have to continue to do the research because I still haven't figured out why this straight white male who's been highly privileged since this company's inception. I'm trying to figure out why he's mad, but that's a thing nowadays. I mean,
tell me why you mad, son.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel bad for him. Hopefully he gets the help he needs. We'll give you an update. Maybe we'll find out. I'm trying to tell you, it's Mississippi, so and it's Tupelo, Mississippi. So
I have never been. Have you?
Where?
Mississippi.
I've stopped through Mississippi on a Greyhound back in the late '90s. Other than that, nah. Mississippi sounds like a place where it's still legal to own sweat. You know, let me quit. I got a lot of my homeboys that's from the Delta down there in Mississippi. Shout out to them fellas. You know, always clown Mississippi. And they say at least it's not South Carolina. Good point. Okay. So moving right along to our next topic. And I felt that my privilege, I felt it was my duty. And this is the reason why I'm breaking down parts of Jay-Z's verse on God Did. Okay, so anytime an artist or a rapper, one of the anytime the greatest rapper of all time spits a verse, since he's not making albums, it seems as though it breaks the internet. And was it this past Friday or Friday before? When did Khaled album come out? I'm losing my fucking time.
It wasn't this past Friday.
It was let's see, I'm looking at my calendar. It was the 26th, I want to say.
You marked it on your calendar.
No, I didn't mark it on my calendar. I'm looking. Hold on, 26. Okay. So track 2, God did Rick Ross, Lil Wayne rap, and then Jay-Z rap. Now, what's significant about this, Jay-Z rap for 4 minutes. I think he gave us 75 bars. And the reason I'm reviewing this is because when you reach the pinnacle of greatness that Jay-Z has through, not only rap, through his business ventures and stuff like that, you're going to garner a lot of hate. Just no different than his wife. I mean, people wait for Beyonce albums to come out just so they can say they don't like it or whatever. And that's no different. So all 3 of them sound. It was levels.
Her birthday was yesterday.
Yeah, sure was. Ross had a good verse. I thought it was just great. It probably didn't look that great because Wayne had a better verse. And then Jay-Z just rapped for 4 hours. The reason I'm reviewing this is because I got really, really pissed. And Merv and Sean, and both of them posted this in the chat where somebody said that Jay-Z rambled for 4 minutes.
Rambled?
Yeah, they said he rambled. But
wow. Okay, that was.
Before I go into the review, though, that's how lazy I think we have gotten with rap. Whereas, because I've always been a guy enamored with lyrical content, and because some of these guys are straight poets. Your Nas's, your Jay-Z's, your Rakim's, Black Thought. These guys are poets. But you have this new era, whereas you don't even have to be a poet to be a hip hop performer. I don't even like to call these guys rappers. I'm not gonna call their names, but we all know who they is. You like anybody. It seems like anybody can be a rapper nowadays. But for those not knowing, and for those that are ignorant to the fact, I'm gonna break down some of these bars. Okay. So at the beginning of I don't have no pictures or anything like that. I'm gonna just go over. I don't know. Did you understand everything in that verse? I didn't when I originally listened to it. I'll be totally honest.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I'm gonna break some of this stuff down. Some of the stuff people aren't gonna agree with, and the first one is very controversial as far as when Jay said how many billionaires can come from whole crib. He said he count 3. I count 3, me, and Ree. Bron's a rock boy, so 4 technically. Double entendre. Bron's a basketball player. Rock, basketball. People call basketball the rock, and technical fouls. Just need to handle that. But people will say that Jay didn't have a hand in making Rihanna a millionaire, a billionaire. Whereas Rihanna is represented by Rock Nation Enterprises, and her manager, who is Jay-Z's business partner, his name is Jay Brown, who he refers to as Breezy as it goes on. So I don't know if you knew that or not. So he said, I turned the cocaine into champagne. So he went from selling coke to business venture. I think he's talking about Ace of Spades on that one. If I researched that one right. Now he's talking about back it up. He says, "Please, Lord, forgive me for what the stove did." And he is, and we're gonna get to this later. Whereas he is, he's talking about selling drugs, mainly, selling drugs in his community.
You see me swirling it around.
Yeah, cooking it up, and it's a selling crackers. To people from the community or whatever. What was very interesting is these bars that say, now the weed in stores, can you believe this tie? Put my hustle in the Forbes, can you believe this guy? So Jay-Z, with the legalization of marijuana in a whole lot of states, of course, Jay-Z, the businessman that he is, he has I think he has his own weed line called Monogram, because he rapped about it later on the song, Monogram in My Pocket or whatever. It's a $50 pre-roll. But he's also saying that so many people went to jail for selling weed And now the shit is legalized. The government figured it out. Like, damn, we can make a whole lot of money off this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what he said. We said, fuck it, took the dope public. And he's kind of like saying, and he said, out the mud, they got to face you now. You can't make up the shit. You know, the mud, clay mud you put on your face when you get in a facial, face you. And you don't need no makeup when you do the facial or whatever. So that's a good play on words. And this is not going to take long. I just find it very hypocritical with the legalization. It's almost as if Jay-Z used to sell drugs, but he capitalized on the legalization of marijuana because he's still selling drugs legally now. Though that's kind of funny. Okay, couple other bars. I'm at the cap table. What the splits is, not that cap table. So talking about capitalization tables. When you're in business ventures and you have several ownership, when you have an ownership group, you have capitalization tables where they tell you what the percentages of the money from the ownership group that you get. With a play on words saying cap table, talking about how people be lying about their business ventures and shit like that. Now, I'm not going to go over this entire thing because let me see. I just wanted to hit some key points.
Mm-hmm.
This one goes back to Brianna, being the business partner. To Breezy with the business is, we pushing Fenty like fentanyl. The shit is all legitimate. Now that is significant because we're going to talk about this later as far as this war on drugs, contrasting then and now, shit like that. But he said we're pushing Fenty like fentanyl. The shit is all legitimate. Fenty is Rihanna's lingerie line
and makeup.
Makeup, and that's sprung her into superstardom and shit like that. So you have these drug companies, Big Pharma, who has made so much money off of fentanyl, pushing them as painkillers. So he's saying Fenty, and we pushing it like fentanyl because the government is getting rich off the shit, and the shit is all legitimate. Calling the fentanyl and the Fendi legitimate. He goes on to talk about how his homeboy was down for 10 years. He ended up getting him time off his sentence. More weed talk. I want to go to
did look monogram up.
Yeah. He said, I never wanted to be the state's custodian. The laws are draconian. For those who marry to the life is holy matrimonian. Somehow I outfox every box they try to throw me in. That's a jab personally to Fox News, because Fox News typically throws shots at Jay-Z always. Always find a way to keep Jay-Z naming him out, but they're not. He said they're not giving him respect for his business acumen. They're always talking about how his raps is killing people and things of that nature. And say I got lawyers like Shooter working pro bono for him as a favor because I throw them M's. So Jay-Z is at the point now where he outsources his legal team. He helped out 21 Savage. Of course, he helped me and all that good shit. Now, these next couple of bars, and we're almost done, were kind of, these were deep. So all this pain from the outside, inspired from all this growth within, with new planes getting broken in, highest elevation of self, they don't fuck around and give the right niggas wealth. Planes, the Wright brothers. And when he's talking about planes, he's not just talking about private jets. He's talking about going into another plane, spiritual ascension, elevation, but he's also talking about private jets and getting a new jet. So it's double entendre. But the Wright brothers shit was kind of that was kind of fly. And he goes on to say, these ain't songs, these is hymns because I'm him. It's the Psalm 151 New Testament book of whole. The Psalm in the Bible has 150 verses. And he's saying that he has the 151st verse, book of whole. Jesus turned water into wine. The whole of it just took a stove. Then he talks about Big Burks, his business partner, who ended up going to jail for weed. He said, "You never know how this shit could go. Me and Biggs probably got too big if they ain't booked that load. Hindsight is 2020. Though he's getting plenty money. Looking back now, this shit is funny. He's looking at the fact that Biggs is in this weed venture with him. He did 4 years for weed. Was supposed to do 5, but Jay-Z wrote a letter to the judge, and he got all. But they're looking at it as, okay, he's making plenty of money now, but he can't get those 4 years back that he served for weed, and now he's selling it illegally. And he said he's seen a lot of They said they don't know me internationally. Niggas on the road did. I see a lot of Hoven Gigs. Gigs is a rapper from London. He's kind of like the Jay-Z of the UK. And the last thing what he said, what's significance about that? He said, let me go back. They said they don't know me internationally. Niggas on the road did. Road, like, you know how we say the streets in America? Roads is like their version of the street. So like you out in them roads, you're out in the how we say, you're out in those roads, you know what I'm saying? So they call it streets, they call it roads or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said me and me could never he said me and me could never beef. I freed that nigga from a whole bit. He's talking about the speculation surrounding Meek's departure from Rock Nation. Everybody was thinking, oh, they gotta be beefing. So he just cleared that up. I mean, me and him ain't beefing. It was they went to separate ways amicably. And the last bar was next time you have a discussion who the GOAT is, next time you have a discussion who the GOAT is, you donkeys know this. And he said, forgive me, that's my passion talking. Sometimes I feel like Farrakhan talking to Mike Wallace should be quiet. Now, that famous interview that Farrakhan did with Mike Wallace, where Mike Wallace is talking about the corruption going on in Nigeria. And Farrakhan said, hey, that country's only 36 years old. He said, you know, what about United States? What about he was just naming off everything that fucked up that this country has done. And he's like, so what would you say is the most corrupt? And Mike Wallace asking that famous question, what do you think the most corrupt nation is in the world? He's like, I'm living in it. And they did like a cut, and he was like, and he said you should keep quiet. And Jay-Z says that in his lyrics because he said, Mike Wallace, how you have the audacity to say that a country that's 36 years old is full of corruption when we're living in one that, you know, killed off all the Indians, that enslaved black people, all that stuff, you know. So he said, forgive me, that's my passion talk, you know. But hopefully, I know that was kind of lengthy. I just wanted to clear some of it up for those not know rappers breaking down lyrics for dummies and all that shit. I'm not even gonna lie, Nicole. As a Jay-Z fan, I was kind of offended when somebody said he rambled for 4 minutes. Just say that you rap. If you say that, even if you don't like Jay-Z, just say that. Look, my rap acumen, my hip hop acumen is probably at a 4th grade level, and when I don't understand what someone is saying, I'm gonna hate on it. Thoughts? Did you learn anything from anything I said today? I know you're one of those Nas fans or whatever, but yeah.
Well, Nas is my favorite rapper of all time. However, you know, I also really like Jay-Z. I just
same.
I very lazy thinking. I'm sorry, I couldn't get out what I wanted to say. If people don't have the attention span to listen, you know, and really try to figure out what, because it's a history lesson. So like I think we spoke about this before, but like with like Wu-Tang, like if they made me go read, you know, about the nation of gods and earths, because I wanted to know what they were saying, you know,
right.
Like that's the shit that used to go on, you know, and it doesn't seem like people outside of our generation saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it was some, but mainly it was. I don't pay too much attention to people when it comes to rap. If you born after, like, I would say 89 in most cases, like, not saying that you got some youngins out there that got a good ear for music or whatever, but some people you can't talk rap to, but it rap about. Of course, the overwhelming majority was the younger folks but it was some from our era, which was very disappointing. You know,
that is disappointing.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like Jay-Z for reasons or whatever, but don't deny the talent and the art. You can, because a lot of people hate the fact that he's a billionaire, because Bomani Jones
sacrificed souls to get into the Illuminati.
Hey, yo.
No, like that is so offensive.
What?
That the Illuminati, you know, stuff, because it's only ever said about Black folks that have made it. Oh well,
right.
Nobody passes away, you know, that is even remotely close. Oh, that was a blood sacrifice.
That's yeah, that's always been wild to me.
And like, you know, I've never heard anybody say that about Miley Cyrus. You know what I'm saying? Or like Adele.
Adele is so dope. She's one of my faves.
She is dope, but I've never heard anyone accuse her of, but that anyway, that is back to Jay-Z. People are weird. But I mean, this was a history lesson, and the hope would have been that people who didn't live through it, especially, you know, would have been able to gain something through it, you know, from it. Because we were born, what, in 79? And if people were still getting locked up, yeah, people were still getting locked up for weed growing up.
Hell yeah.
You had that damn, then fucking crack came to town. So, you know what, then which resulted in a whole new level of oppression with the 100 to 1, you know, laws, the Rockefeller laws, all of these various things. So people need to do, I don't know. I like things that inspire me to learn more. So if that is not people's reaction to this, I'm sad.
Yeah. So our main topic is going to be, you know, one of the things that we wanted to talk about, Nick, mainly based on this verse that Jay-Z just came up with. Like I said, it was a history lesson. We're about to take you guys on a little history lesson as far as America's war on drugs. It started a long time ago. I mean, the drugs really didn't come into play until later, but I think that it started the foundation for this started after Reconstruction. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it from there, since this is
but like the prohibition on weed, which is basically just now starting to leave. Then they tried the prohibition with alcohol for a while. Then it was like, okay, no. this is not it. But what the war on drugs means to me is, you know, like I was saying, that crack era, you know, and it was when you had like people going to jail for like football numbers, and it wasn't a war on the drugs, it was a war on people, particularly lower class Black people, you know, lower class, you know, the people who were selling it, you know, because you had users of every race, you know, every income level. But it was, to me, it was a class war. It was a racial war, and it was a class war. But man, like, yeah, them people was getting like, I remember the I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but the Bush 1 interview of, was that him or was that Reagan holding up that bag of crack?
Damn, they had a bag of crack. That probably was Reagan.
He held up a bag of crack and lied and said that somebody was smoking crack across the street from the White House in a park. And so I listened to this thing, and it was about the history of a lot of the crack laws here in the United States. It just, I don't know.
Well, it all. Let me.
It's like I'm losing my. I'm having 5 trains of thought all in one.
Well, let me interject for a second. So all of this started back in 1865
Nixon.
when the slave. No, I'm going all the way back before that.
Ah.
1865.
Oh,
When,
1865.
when the slaves got freed or whatever, and that means you no more free labor, no more free labor. But South wasn't really going for that, so started enacting laws that made very, and this is before the drugs came about. But I mean, I got 13 playing behind me, and I found this out from that and reading. But
Oh, the amendment.
slavery isn't, slavery just evolved because it didn't. Slavery is not totally eradicated because the only
And
way you can
there
be a
was
slave is
this
if you're in prison.
and there
Like,
was this fact. I don't know if they mentioned it in that particular movie or where I saw it, but the prison, Angola, down in Louisiana, that was a plantation. So it went straight from being a plantation to a prison, and the population remained the same. It's still it's still like a very black place. And so that just, and like if you see the footage from Angola, it's horrible. They have these farms there, and so you see the people, picking whatever, and then they have the COs or whoever on the horses with a rifle. It's crazy. You look at that shit and you're like, oh my God, like this looks like fucking slavery. And that's 5 cents an hour doing that kind of shit basically is slavery.
well,
Locked up. But I
well,
just thought that Angola is still a very was a good example of how, slavery turned into, this the beginning of like the prison industrial complex. You know what I'm saying? Like Angola, you can see it right from being a plantation to being a prison.
yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, um, the United States has still managed to get their slave labor even after slavery, was eradicated. Now, we're not saying that. Well, I'm not saying at least that people didn't deserve to go to, like. I mean, I'm not outside of drugs. I mean, you got killers, murderers, rapists, and stuff like that. That most definitely need to be locked up. We're not arguing that. We're not arguing as far as crimes and stuff like that.
I am actually reading up on prison abolition. So I am holding my thoughts and opinions until I fully research that subject.
Oh, that's fine.
Because
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm not
know I'm still learning what the alternative is. So I've been doing a lot of research.
alternative to what?
Imprisoning people. Abolition can mean different things to different people. So some people say just get rid of all the jails and then rebuild the system. And then some people say, you know, um,
What do you do with all the people in the
prison.
jails if you get rid of jails?
Well, so some people are saying rebuild the jails and find a different way to combat the issue.
Hmm.
I'll send you a video. I found a really nice anyway, but yes, right now in this space of time, that is, the law of the land.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of rehabilitation really doesn't go on in prison, in my opinion. I mean, some people go in jail. I mean, I think it's a small percentage that go in there and actually come out better than when they came in. But I think the overwhelming majority. I mean, when I think of ribbon, when I think of prison, I think of uh, fighting all the time, getting raped. I think of some of the most horrible things that you can think of as far as life when I think about prison. And you have some people that go in there that probably didn't deserve to be up in there, and they come out different people. And not to mention some of the countless individuals that ended up being falsely convicted and things of that nature. You can't, I mean, you got cats that being in jail 20, 30 years and they find out DNA evidence that motherfucker ain't did that shit. You let them out 30 years. Could you imagine going into jail at the age of 20 and getting out at 50 and say, "Oh, I'm bad. Yeah, you ain't did that shit." Like you can
And
get out though,
no
but
amount of money.
you can't
You
get.
know,
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people say like, "Oh, well, they get money, this, that, and the third." I'm sorry, I can't put a price on 30 years. I'm sorry, I cannot. That's a whole lifetime for a whole bunch of folks. You got a lot of folks. I mean, people don't make it to 30. That's a lot. There's nothing you can do. There's no amount of money you can give me that can give me those 30 years back. Because if I went to jail at the age of 20 and got out, let's just say I got out now. I mean, I would have went to jail when my son was 1 and he's 22 now. There's nothing you can do for me. You can't get that time back, and that's why I tell it. The reason I'm so serious about time, because that's the one thing you can't recoup. Mm-hmm. Once it's gone, it's gone. We're not going to get a do-over tomorrow. We can't. The meeting, the world masses can't meet. Say, you know what? September 5th was a bad day. Let's do this shit over tomorrow. Nah, the clock keeps going, and the world moves on without you, regardless if you innocent or guilty. And it's just sad, man, because some people's lives, and some of them, they get out, they don't know how to live. And I've heard people that get released, that wrongfully accused, wrongfully convicted, get out of jail and go back in. They'll commit a crime just to go back in because they can't function in normal society. And that goes back to what Sam was saying to you. I don't think there's no rehabilitation that really goes on in jail.
No, my dad talks about this because my dad, you know, he's been locked up in like the 70s. He's been locked up in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Not straight, you know, but he's done time in all of those different decades. And he talks about, I'm getting like the world's hottest flash right now.
Damn.
Oh.
What the fuck? You looking around and shit?
My air is on. I have it set to 64, and I'm still over here fanning myself. Should have had the kids fan me and feed me grapes while they were in here. But he talks about how, like, back in the day, you could get a degree from, you know, while you were locked up, and you know, you can learn different things, get different skills. Now okay, I don't want to bring this about prison reform because I was about to go off onto a whole different tangent about the firefighters in California who are locked up and fight fires but cannot get hired as a firefighter. But I have a cousin who just came home. He did like almost 40 years for drugs from back in the 80s. And it just, the 80s was like such a fucked up time. Like, I know that we, you know, oh yeah, you know, the 80s, you know, and the 80s were fun. They were fun, but they were also very, very fucked up. That's when a lot of us really started seeing like violence for real, like the late 80s, you know, the early 90s. You know, that's, but I'm not even talking about the violence. I mean, a little bit of crack was getting people decades behind jails. Like, it is, oh my God, it was like, I read this book, Life on the Outside. It's recommended reading. It's on I recommend it. And
the funny thing is that the government put the crack out there. I still remember playing in the streets, and a lot of people from up north would be like, "Damn, y'all had that shit done." I'm like, "Damn, y'all," because you got some people that never leave from where they from, and they don't believe that places in the South are just like places in the North in that regard. Because I remember playing with the crack vials on the ground and shit, like the red tops, blue tops. I still vividly remember that in my mind, bouncing to the basketball, playing football and shit like that. I still remember
I
all
don't
that
think
shit.
that
So
people.
that's some wild shit right there.
I don't think that people realize how hard the drug epidemics hit small
This
towns.
shit was everywhere. That shit was everywhere, and I remember reading it. I remember reading in the paper. You know, you have cats 22 years old. They getting running back numbers 20 years, 25 years, 30 years,
Like it
and a
was
lot of the time
nothing.
is mandatory. Mandatory if it's fed time, you're doing 85% of the time. You know, so they did a scare tactic and they made it seem like, oh, these people that are selling we have to lock these folks up, they're a threat to America, things of that nature. But that was just a way to keep the cheap labor gravy train flowing. Because I mean, and the thing is, what they did, they're real savvy because they'll pay somebody like 5 cents an hour to like make clothes and shit like that. And that's,
And they
you
have
can
every
only,
job that you can think of in
yeah,
there.
and they get paid like slave wage, literal, slave wages and shit like that. But they pay them a little bit because slaves didn't get paid shit. But they pay them a little bit just to kind of say, well, it's not slavery because we are paying. You're paying motherfucker 5 cents an hour. And you say you're paying them?
But the living
Well, not
conditions
do
are
that.
still really harsh. They just closed the prison a few years ago. Graterford. My dad, shout out to my dad. My dad had been locked up in Graterford and they didn't have no air conditioning. And what was so crazy, like, so do you remember that petition? Going back to what you said about the government bringing crack in. Do you remember that petition from when Nancy Reagan had died? Um, before we found out about the Gulf War 3000 or whatever. Um, remember there was a petition for them to play Trap Queen at her funeral. It was a fake petition, because it was never going to happen. But they wanted to play Trap Queen. Y'all remember
I don't. That would have been really good. That would have been really funny. And also, I'm glad you mentioned that because Ronald Reagan and Big Pharma are. I don't even. They don't hold a candle to the typical the typical kingpin or the typical corner boy. The real dope boys are Big Pharma, and Ronald Reagan was probably the biggest drug dealer in United States history. Believe that shit.
that? And Big Pharma's now they're to blame for the big opioid stuff going on.
And there's the big. And here's his hypocrisy. The crack epidemic was treated like a crime problem. Now these companies, Johnson and Johnson and whatever other companies that make fentanyl, they are paying billions to white America, the Midwest, and all these people that's affected by fentanyl. They are paying billions. But they didn't treat the crack epidemic like a public health crisis like they are with fentanyl. But that's the difference. That's the absolute difference. I mean, if it was white people strung out on crack and crack was in the white community like it was in our communities in the 80s and 90s, they would have definitely treated it like a public health crisis because that's what it was. That's what crack was a public. Granted, people was buying it, people was using it, but it got people hooked. It got them hooked fast. It was cheap, and you had people that went from being stand-up people that go work 9 to 5 job that just life got totally turned upside down by crack, but they still never treated
Yeah.
it like. And the people that was on crack, those are just more people we can imprison because once you done spend up all your money and you ain't working no more because you're on crack, what you got to do to get your drugs? You got to steal. So now we can put you in jail too, where you don't need to be in no jail because you have an addiction. You should be in some type of center getting some rehab, like
Yeah,
they're doing
yeah.
for all the opioid folks. But I could talk about that bullshit. But yeah, the doctors. I'm glad Sam mentioned that the doctors ain't doctors is not they ain't innocent in this because they don't want to prescribe the shit, man. All these motherfuckers work. The politicians, big pharma, the
There is
doctors.
a really good show on Hulu called Dope Sick. I believe that's what it's called. But it tells a story about that. It's starring Michael Keaton, and I think he was I think he produced it too. But it's about like a small town in West Virginia where the farmer. I didn't know that they had like pharmaceutical salespeople that went around to doctors' offices. So they were like pushing it, like, oh, and then they were just like making up like this fake ass science.
What
Oh
is
well, this doesn't
that
work.
again? Dope sick?
Oh well, huh?
You said dope sick?
Yeah, on Hulu. Yeah.
I gotta check that out. I like watching shit like that. I like documentaries.
Well,
Trying to
no, so it's
draw.
a. I mean, it's a TV show, but it's based on true events.
Oh man, I thought that shit was a documentary. I may still check it out. Yeah. But anything else you want to discuss on the war on drugs?
Our the 100-to-1 sentencing. I cannot talk today. It has been going on all day long. Let me pull this up. I should have had it pulled up already.
And the funny
But
thing
this is
is,
something that we need to discuss real quick because Obama did change it. So it says the laws created a 100-to-1 quantity ratio between the amount of crack and powder cocaine needed to trigger certain mandatory minimum sentences for trafficking. So if you had a little bit of crack, you would be sentenced like the same as like a major cocaine dealer.
yeah.
100 times the amount as as a coke dealer would get.
And the thing is that's all intertwined simply because it's when you get when you cook the cocaine, make it into crack. That made it. Cocaine was like was kind of like a white people drug, but when you cook it up, when you cook it up, and turn it into crack, which was cheap, and that makes it more able where more people can buy it or whatever. I couldn't find the word I was looking for. So it was kind of like perfect, and people get hooked really, really quick. Apparently you get hooked like a motherfucker on your first try. I talked to a crackhead on my wife's side of the family. Well, she told he actually got off of it, but he said that, and I don't know if you've heard this story before from a former crackhead. They say the first time you take
Yeah,
crack,
they say it's like heaven.
it is like the best feeling that you can have in your life. But the fucked up thing and the beauty about crack is you will be chasing that feel. You will never have that initial feeling again, but you will be chasing it for the rest of your life. Like you just, and that's some fucked up shit to be on. Like I don't even see how. I mean, and you watch these shows. We've seen shows over the years that just show. You watch Snowfall?
I do.
They did a really good job. It's fucked up the way people are when they own that shit, but they did a really good job of depicting like addicts and straight up dope fiends and just
And you
showing
remember,
how.
and I'm sure you do just as I do the Iran Contra hearings, Oliver North, and all of that.
Oh,
All the time
absolutely.
on TV, and like I didn't know what it was about. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, because as a kid I was just mad because that shit was on and I couldn't watch, my TV shows. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame. It's
I was I remember just wondering that why this military dude was on TV in the middle of the day having to ask all these questions. I didn't know what the fuck it really was about or anything like that, but I was just like, why is this on? Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this on every single day? And it's just wild to think that a president got away with funding a war through flooding underprivileged neighborhoods with crack. So I mean, I guess I don't know that shit right now in today's day and age. I mean, we just fund people like we're funding the Ukrainians right now. So I don't know why. I think it had something with
drug money to do it.
might have had something to do with communism or something like that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the support. from Congress or whatever, but like you gotta have some balls to say, check this out. We can't use our money, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna flood the streets of America with drugs, with crack, highly addictive cooked cocaine, and that's how we're gonna fund it. That's ballsy. And the thing is, a lot of white America, especially those Republicans, they think of Reagan as one of the best presidents of all time. That dude was a fucking devil, man. I'm sorry, man. Jesus Christ.
But I think it's the same thing with like Trump, like because it wasn't just us in the lines for them baskets of food, they were too. But I think it's just like with Trump, where like if somebody's speaking the racist ass language, then hey, you know what I'm saying? They all in.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. I've actually stopped speaking to some people on that type shit, and it's not because they voted for Trump. But I mean, I sat down and explained to them like, you're on the side. Okay, I understand you're saying that Trump's policies makes your life better, which I debunk them all the time as far as that goes, because they always talk about the tax cuts because that's what Fox News pushes. Like, oh, Republicans are all about tax cuts. Us down at the bottom, we get the minuscule tax cuts. Corporations and the 1%, they get the real tax cuts. That's who that shit is for. But it's easy to, oh my God, they're giving me like $5 back on my money. So I don't know, that shit is mind-boggling me. But I tell them, you're on the side, like part of your base, you're voting for Trump. Part of your base is people that want to see me dead, the racists, the white supremacists and shit like that. Like, and these people are on your side. That's what you're cool with. Which I find it very funny because Republicans are struggling to find themselves. They can't let go of Trump because he still has a stranglehold on that party. But I don't want to talk about that jackass any more than I really have to. Just need to provide it for context.
My final thoughts on this subject is the war on drugs is a bullshit name. It's a war on people. It's sometimes it's a war to fill up the jails. Right now it's a war to get all of this fast money through rehabs and shit. These rehabs are making a fucking killing right now. Yeah. It's a war against people is what I should say. They don't give a shit. The government does not give a shit about people. That is my personal belief system. I don't represent the guys. I'm just saying me. I truly believe that the government does not give a shit about us. There's a so-called war on drugs, but you can go right down. You can take the L right down to Kensington and Allegheny Avenue, and you can buy you some. Well, it's not even heroin anymore. It's fentanyl and trank. But you can buy it right now in front of police officers. There are police down there, but
that shit ain't, as long as that shit don't make it in the what do they call it? Suburbia. Hey, they gonna let that shit ride. You know what I'm saying?
Well, right now, this is just my opinion. It's being used as a tool for gentrification. Philly is being gentrified so heavy, and that area, Kensington, is being bought up very, very fast. So they're trying to get all of the people who lived there for generations and generations, who own their houses, because there's a lot of homeowners down there. They're trying to, oh no, I don't want to be around here living by this shit. They want them to sell their houses so that they can get rid of them and build up these stupid Lego buildings that's going around all over the place. They look like Lego buildings. I hate them.
Yo.
But like like I said, it's always a war on people. You know, whether it's whether they're being used as a pawn for gentrification, whether they're being used as a pawn to fill up the jails, whether they're being used as a pawn, for hospitals and stuff. It's sad.
Yeah, my final thoughts on this is yeah, I don't it's quite clear that the war on drugs uh is something that started in the 80s, but I think they had plans on it. It's just another way they could have criminalized slave people. I think it started back
And tear up families.
in 1865 when Woodrow Wilson had the audacity to have that screening of Birth of a Nation at the
Ugh.
White House, demonizing black men in particular, just like they got a dude in blackface, just they're just showing him as a criminal or a rapist. They got to the point where they even showed it as like they showed the white woman dying and the black guy, the white man in blackface. He's the actor. It's one of those old ass movies, and that set the conditions to let people know, hey, it's not slavery anymore, but it's open season on black people. We're gonna keep them in chains no matter what. And you know, it started with making everything a crime, like jaywalking. Like, oh, I know you were free, but you just jaywalk. You got to go back to this fucking plantation and serve your time out. That's literally putting them back in chains. And the shit is still happening today, even though it's getting. I mean, like I said with the Jay-Z lyrics, I mean, weed is legal, I think, in 18 states and counting. And it's just funny that we still ain't got to the point yet where we're just letting all these people that in jail for selling weed, letting them out, because it's you literally can make money off of it now. States are making money off of wheel says it brings in a lot of revenue. And what's noteworthy as well is that I read an article, for the first time in this country's history, more people are smoking weed than cigarettes. How real is that? So yeah, that's my final thoughts on the war on drugs. I'm sorry, the war on the war on America. I'm tripping. America's war on drugs. What are your final thoughts, Nick, to take us out?
Oh, shout out to Oscar Michaud. He was a very early Black filmmaker. I don't know if he was the very first one, but he was back in the silent film days. So, shout out to him. Shout out to everybody who is locked up right now for selling drugs. I believe in the legalization of all drugs. I don't believe that one single person should be in jail for selling drugs. I do not. Prohibition on drugs is not working. People are still using drugs. I just, yeah, man. Fuck the law.
Okay.
That's my final thought. Fuck the law.
I just don't yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I just don't see I just don't see me being able to just see somebody just shooting up right in front of me openly. But hey, it is what it is.
Go down to Kensington and Somerset. You will see it.
I think I'm good.
No, but it's not a pretty sight.
But yeah, shout out to.
They were trying to have a safe injection site. They wanted to have 2 here in Philly, and and nobody wanted it in their neighborhood, which I understand. But then you have these encampments where people are using drugs on the outside, outside, and you're having overdoses outside, so it just would have been better to have the safe injection sites.
True. Well, before we get up out of here, I want to shout out the crew: Merv, Sean, Mark, Tina B, Street Team General Tazon,
Merv, who hopefully has gotten some good picks tonight for his fantasy team.
I wish that nigga nothing but the worst as far as fantasy. So yeah, I hope he don't get good picks. But shout out to Becca.
Harm reduction, absolutely, Sam.
Becca was supposed to be on with us tonight. She lost a family member. So our thoughts and prayers are with her. I wasn't going to announce that, but I
Absolutely.
mean, eventually everybody will know. But yeah, she lost her uncle. Just got word before we got on the pod. So keep your thoughts and prayers with Becca. That's her and her family go through this trying time. Um, and for those of you that's wondering, like it's her other side of the family. It's yet still, yeah. Big up to my cousin Becca and my cousin Issa, my cousin Liz, her mom.
Yeah.
They deal with this difficult time. And as y'all already know, we're gonna be right back tomorrow. Mervin Tazon show. They're gonna go over episodes 3 of Raising. First hour is gonna be Power Book 3, Raising Canaan, episode 3. And the second hour is gonna be House of the Dragon, episode 3. Really good episode last night. It was dope. I'm locked in as I know you are. I ain't gonna steal them boys' number, but Thunder, but they,
Last night.
they Prince Damon a bad motherfucker. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it what it is. The motherfucker's a badass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, boy.
And it just doesn't really sit well with me. I think this king is fucking weak. But you know
Yes.
what? We can talk about this shit. I'm gonna leave it just like that. But those gentlemen will be tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow, locked in, tuning in because I like talking that shit. I might hop on with the motherfucker. I get excited when we talking Game of Thrones and fucking House of the Dragon. So yeah, those brothers will be on tomorrow at 8. And of course, we have the Wednesday pod where we talk about any and everything. Ain't no telling who's gonna be on it. But tune in for that. And we'll be right back here next week. Mark's gonna do his Monday show, and then we go from there. Ain't shit changed. We still got some shit going on. Shout out to everybody out there on Facebook Live. Shout out to everybody out there on YouTube Live. Shout out to our wonderful viewers out there on One Mile High Radio. Shout out to everybody viewing us right now on Zingo TV channel 199 on our own network, Stream TV channel 6. And where could we find our pods at, Nick?
Apple Podcast, the Guys Podcast. It will be a picture of. It'll be a picture of it's a microphone.
Yeah,
it's a microphone. Yeah.
Yeah. Subscribe to that shit, y'all. Download the episodes. Show us some love. We got some good content on there. You can actually subscribe and it'll come to you automatically as we upload episodes. I think I got one episode from last week that I still gotta upload. I didn't get a chance to get out. I was traveling last week. And I'll upload this one. But show us some love. We got some more content coming. We'll just go from there. You got anything else so we can get the fuck up out of here? You good?
No, just prayers to Becca and her family. And Sam says have a good night or have a great night. You too, honey.
Oh yeah, thank you everybody that was in the comments. Yeah, Sam, Trey in there. I think Ingrid was in there, Jordan as well. We have Rika as usual. Like Rika, she gonna be there. I mean, if anybody else gonna be there, if Sam, Trey, and fucking Rika, they gonna be there. They gonna be there. We can't count on nobody else. We can count on them. Of course, Ingrid, we appreciate you in the comments. And we'll see y'all tomorrow for the Mervin Tazon show and the Wednesday show on Wednesday. Peace out.
Peace.